Hey, this is really wild. Karoline Leavitt owes $300,000 that she is now delinquent on. Now, as I explained to you what's going on, as White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt spends just about every day standing in the White House press briefing room when she's not on maternity leave, which she's entitled to, of course. I guess other people aren't, but she is. And she talks about this is a responsible, competent, accountable administration. But we have newly filed Federal Election Commission disclosures. Karoline Leavitt ran for Congress back in 2022. You might not have known that, but she was a candidate. And she still owes $326,000. Now, it's not that unusual to have some campaign debt. You know, candidates lose elections, they wind down their campaign, and it can take a while to pay off vendors that you owe money to. That's not really the story. The story is what makes up a lot of that $326,000. More than $210,000 of the money that she owes should have been refunded to donors because the contributions exceeded the legal limit. In other words, people gave more than the federal law allows. Sometimes this is done on the expectation that the candidate's going to continue, and then they don't. You're supposed to send that money back to the voters. And according to the filing, that hasn't happened. The campaign doesn't have the money. And this is a debt that's been sitting there now for 4 years. Now, under federal law, Leavitt isn't personally on the hook for the debt. The way that they're allowed to do it is, here's my campaign committee. It's a separate legal entity. I'm not the personal guarantor. So I'm not saying she's personally delinquent on a loan, but this is a politically terrible look, because these are the same people who never stop lecturing everybody else about personal responsibility. If you're a working person and you're behind on your bills, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get your budget balanced, make some cuts, stop buying lattes and avocado toast, and take personal responsibility. You're a student struggling with student loans, pay what you owe, get a better job. If you're on government assistance, well, we're going to try to kick you off. And when it's one of their own with hundreds of thousands of dollars unresolved, which, by the way, is owed mostly to individual donors, suddenly it's like, oh, it's complicated and these rules are flexible and there's a whole other series of explanations. Now, there's another interesting twist to this entire story. An FEC complaint related to the campaign was filed back in 2022, but the FEC has been unable to take any enforcement action for more than a year because it doesn't have enough commissioners to operate. How convenient yet again. The people constantly demanding accountability from everybody else, fiscal responsibility, follow the rules, live within your means. The spotlight is now on one of their own, and the standards change. Imagine if a Democratic White House press secretary had an old campaign with more than $300,000 in debt, including over $200,000 that is simply, you should have refunded it years ago to your donors, and then they don't have any money in their campaign account. It would be wall-to-wall coverage on Fox News. Congressional Republicans would demand investigations. They'd say, we need hearings, we need subpoenas. And instead, because it's Karoline Leavitt, most people don't even know about this because it's barely being reported. So once again, one set of rules for everybody else, but one special set of rules for the people doing the lecturing. Now, I address this in my forthcoming book, Pay Attention, and I talk about how algorithms make it so that stories like this never see the light of day. We are now above 1,300 pre-orders for my book. Let's get to 2,000. I would be humbled, flattered, and thrilled if you pre-ordered my book. You can find all the ways to pre-order it at davidpakman.com/attention. I worked very hard on this book. I'm currently in the arduous, painstaking process of recording the audiobook, and I would love it if you got yourself a copy. A limited number of signed copies are available at davidpakman.com/attention, but you can get an audiobook, ebook, whatever is your thing. 1,300 and something we're at. We're going for 2,000. I'll have another update on numbers next week. Debt has a way of getting out of control, even when people are trying to manage it responsibly. High interest rates, constant fees, compounding balances, this can all turn credit cards, personal loans, and medical bills into something much more difficult to escape. And the longer it drags on, the more expensive it becomes. That's why I want to tell you about our sponsor, PDS Debt. PDS Debt helps people with unsecured debt by creating a personalized plan based on their real financial situation. There's not a minimum credit score required. They just focus on reducing what you owe, paying it off faster, and stopping the waste of money on interest and fees. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have thousands of 5-star reviews and have already helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. Every month you wait costs money. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So don't wait another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment at pdsdebt.com/Pakman. The link is in the description.